Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and I am telling you this: if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. Imagine this. Imagine what would you do if the first time you go out and you have so much courage and you have so much faith in yourself, and you go out and you talk to a distressed property owner and you get that property under contract, and for some reason you can't get it closed, and you feel like the bottom is falling out. You feel like, oh no, what am I going to do? And then you get back on the horse and you do it again, and that deal falls out. And then you get back on the horse again, and that deal falls out. 3 deals in a row that you were so hopeful would help change your financial future, which would help you go from believing that you can do it to you knowing that you can do it, and it all just falls away. You go from having to cancel 3 deals and being at that place in your mind to closing 11 deals in a month. That is the story of the gentleman that I am interviewing and having a conversation with today. He is from Jackson, Tennessee. It is my pleasure to bring on Dustin Ring onto the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. Dustin, say hello to everybody.
What's up, everybody? Pleasure to be here, man.
This is it's great to have you on here, Dustin. I think what an inspiration, right? You started out and it didn't work, and it didn't work, and it didn't work, but you just kept going. I mean, what was when you were starting out and you were getting these properties under contract? What was happening? Why didn't these deals work out for you?
Well, when I first started out, there's that really hard balance, and I guess that question that everybody asks, like, what do I find first, deals or buyers? If I find a deal and don't have any buyers, how am I going to sell it? And if I don't have any buyers, and then, they're going to think I'm wasting their time if I don't have any deals to bring them. So it's just kind of that balance, and I think that's where I was stuck. And where I live, it's a little bit more rural, so I was finding deals. They were at good prices, but I just didn't have anybody that wanted to close on them. I didn't really have too much guidance on how to push them to the moon. I was posting them to marketplace, but I hadn't made the relationships with the people in those areas. Now I have the relationships. If I got that deal now, I'd go tomorrow, but it's just at the time, I didn't have, and like I said, what everybody I think kind of fears is not having that buyer pool to close on these deals. And let me just say, if the deal is good enough, and I think, we've all said, if it's good enough, you'll find the buyer. Yeah, and that is true in most situations.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right, Dustin. I mean, if you're in a rural market and everything's spread out and you don't have a very strong, reliable cash buyer database, sometimes deals, like you said, that are actual deals, you just don't get the exposure that you need. And so we'll have some coachable moments on this podcast. I'll give some suggestions, but mostly we're going to follow your path, your journey into wholesaling, and really, discover what it took to get past that, what you've done in the meantime to be able to build up your cash buyer database to be able to sell the deals that you get now. So that's going to be exciting. But tell me about you. Tell me about how you got into wholesaling real estate. How did you find it? It's such a niche that it excites me to find people that are like me that found this and are doing so well and really enjoy it and have that energy about it. So how did you find wholesaling?
Found wholesaling, started digging into what's funny. I'm still living in this duplex right now. And I'm, like I said, I told you I'm closing on my new house this month, which I found for $80K under market value, and it's turnkey. So, humble beginnings. I'm in this $400 a month rent apartment right now. So just because I'm closing 11 deals doesn't mean, I'm above that. I'm still not forgetting where I came from. But anyways, I was in IT for a while, making, $35,000, $40,000 a year, moved into this duplex. And it's funny, my landlord actually gave me a copy of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it sat on my shelf for 1.5 years, 2 years, collecting dust until I finally cracked it open. And one of my buddies had mentioned, real estate and this book. And so I was like, my landlord gave me that book. I'll read it. And so here I am, a guy that's already paycheck to paycheck. And when I say paycheck to paycheck, and I'll tell everyone in the world this, I was negative bank account balance to negative bank account balance. I was Wednesday, Thursday before payday, I'm negative. I'm going, please, Lord, don't let me run out of gas. I think I got enough food in the fridge. I've already paid all my bills. I can't wait for payday so I can pay my overdraft fees and then have enough to live for the next month until you do it again. So anyways, that's where I was in my life. Read that book. I was like, I can't get 20% to save for a house. I can't afford to pay attention. Yep. And like, how am I going to do that? I'm struggling to pay insurance, car, phone, all this stuff I have to have. And I ended up seeing somebody on a podcast and ended up just showing to a real estate meeting next, and met a bunch of like-minded people, mostly investors. They knew a little bit about wholesaling when I asked, but essentially they're like, oh, you mean like you're like a property finder? I'm like, I guess essentially that's what you would call it, a glorified property finder. But I need the capital to be able to buy these properties for this passive income that I want to create for my life. Because, making 35, 40 grand a year, that's great for some people. And if that wants to be your life, then, I'm not knocking that, but not me, man. I was in a corner. I was backed into a corner. I was just like, it's fight or flight at this point. Yeah. I'm either going to live and be broke and daddy's, son, I'm the glorified copier salesman for the rest of your life. That's your hero you have to look up to. And that I couldn't live with that, it has to be better than that. So that's how I got into wholesaling. And like you said, my first 3 deals fell through. Yeah. I just started,
Well, I think it's interesting. There had to be something, Dustin.
There had to be something.
There had to be something that sparked your landlord to give you Rich Dad Poor Dad, unless he's trying to, teach everybody how to not be his tenants anymore. It's kind of
right. That's it.
It's definitely not self-serving for him. But there had to be something, some conversation, some fire, some spark in your eye that he saw that gave you that, and finally cracked it open and got into those being around other investors in the real estate meetup groups or the RIAs in your market there, and squatting up and seeing what's going on there and seeing other people being successful. I think that's absolutely critical. Once you see somebody else doing it, you're like, wait a second, like I could do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's
absolutely. And if I can,
people are superhuman.
The way you say it, and I used to say this all the time too. Like I had a 0.7 GPA when I dropped out my senior year. 0.7. That's because I skipped most days and did whatever I wanted. But I was not ever a smart guy. I never felt like I was. I felt like I had something in here, like I was supposed to do something better than anybody else, or like I was meant for better things. I'm like, I'm not meant to live in this duplex. I'm not meant to make, I want to make a difference. I always want to be a pro wrestler. Followed that for a while, but yeah, I wanted to do something larger than life, and wholesaling has given me that ability now. But anyways, yeah, awesome. Sorry, I might have gone off topic there.
No, that's fantastic. So the first 3 deals, how are you finding these? I love going to what is the origin story of the first actions that people took, because I think it really tells you which path you start down. Yeah. You know what I mean? So go ahead.
I just started shouting it to the moon. That first real estate meetup group, the guy said, everybody always asks me how they can get started. Go home to your Facebook right now and just type in, I buy houses fast for cash and can close in 30 days. Just do it. He goes, I guarantee you, 99% of people can't even do that. It's just getting out of your comfort zone. I knew people knew I didn't have any money. I was always negative and bitter on Facebook. People were like, oh, I'm so tired of this guy. That's the way I felt. People perceived me. And so I went home and did it. And then I got a huge response. Everybody started messaging, what are you doing, dude? What's up? And I just kept doing it more every day. And then I started posting to Facebook groups. And then I went to Fiverr and got me a flyer made. And then I just started digging in more and more and just looking at okay, how do I find more leads? And so Facebook is where I started. I also worked for a printer company. So I would print out these huge, these great quality flyers. And, before I had Deal Machine or an app, I would go around driving and just tape flyers to front doors. I mean, I would just sweating my, butt off in the hot summer down here in Tennessee. But, it worked. I closed 3 deals off 1 flyer I taped to a door. So, it was that boots on the ground at first, because that's the only way I knew. And I'll tell you, for everybody that's got that over analysis paralysis or whatever you call it, the first house I got under contract, I went to that house I brought me a digital camera. I thought that'd be more professional, right? Instead of my phone, which is 10 times better than that digital camera I brought. But I'm just taking pictures of stuff. I wasn't a construction worker. I don't know how to do rehabs at that point. I don't know what to look for. I've rented my whole life. I've never owned, so yeah, I didn't know, it was just that action of doing it. And once I did it once, twice, 3 times, I felt like after a couple of times, you know exactly what to look for. You know the questions to ask. You can start feeling out people a little bit more. So then you start to come over that fear. Yeah, it sucks at first. Just like picking up that phone. It sucks. Like, you think everybody wants to do that? No, nobody just wants to go cold call people. But, it's the things you do that nobody else wants to do you're going to find success in. And I think that's why wholesaling you can become so successful in it, because the few that are successful are doing the things that nobody else does.
That's it. So how did you balance it? I mean, you were doing IT, right? You've got an IT job. You've got this passion for real estate. Most people start out in our business, in the wholesaling business, with a full like schedule full of responsibilities.
Absolutely.
Whether it be a full-time job, whether it be the military, whether it be a stay-at-home parent or raising children, whatever it is. Like, how did you balance it? Where did you find the time? Because that's a question I get all the time on my DMs, on, even in our group, even in the TTP family, the coaching program, people ask, how do I balance this? How do I fit it in? So where did you find the right time to be able to time block and make it like sacred, that nobody like distracted you from your business?
It's different for everybody's situation. I have one son that, I get to see every other weekend, or, and you might have a family of 4 that you have constantly at home. So everyone's situation is different. I was lucky enough to be able to have more free time than others. So as soon as I get off work, as soon as I got done working out or whatever, first off, I'm at work thinking nothing about wholesaling. I can't wait to get off work. And that's how exciting it was. But you get off work and just, I guess, really, you might have to sacrifice some free time. You might have to sacrifice some TV time. You might have to stay up a little bit later. Dude, I know sleep is awesome and waking up early sucks and it can be painful at sometimes. But, start getting that snowball rolling, then you won't have to work so hard. You build it up and just keep packing that snow on there, here and there. You won't have to, constantly look for time to spend wholesaling. And especially once you start getting a few deals under your belt, where I'm from, the assignment fees aren't that big, but some of these places people are wholesaling, these assignment fees are huge. And they're life-changing. They're absolutely life-changing. So
what is your average deal size?
Average deal size is anywhere from 5 to 7. I would say I've actually pushed it up a little bit to 10. Okay. It's becoming closer to 10 now. But, I'm in an area, like I said, it's more country out here, more rural. It's a city, but we have more rural areas. And I will say you have more local investors. These aren't investors that go to bigger pockets and study. These are guys that were born into investing. Their family did it for years. Their dad owns the realty company down the street that everybody uses. So it's stuff like that. And essentially what I'm doing in my market is educating everyone on how these deals work. Because every attorney I go to, which we only close with attorneys around here, we have no title companies, I'm having to teach them how to structure an assignment. And it's very new around here, but it's a little bit more difficult to work. And then, I was really selling myself short at first. I'd just want to get a deal closed. Like, what's your bottom dollar? And I'm like, well, I'd really like to make, I can make $2,000 extra, that'd be great. Okay. 32,000 okay, great. 32,000, write it up. I'm like, man, I should have said 35 or 36, and I would just be so anxious to lock a deal up. But now, I let it float for a minute and try to get the most out of it, because these guys want your property. They want to make the deal just as bad as you want to close the deal.
You're cash buyers.
Yeah, cash buyers is what I mean.
Yeah. Now, are you finding that there's a lot of competition for
there's competition that starts but never finishes, I guess you'd say. Mostly around here, we're in a realtor bubble. So if you're not a realtor, you can't work in real estate. That's just the way it kind of is around here. And I was a realtor for 2 years, and I was a realtor up until about a month ago. So investing and not being a realtor, I don't know. It's just kind of weird around here in this rural area. But to answer your question, anyways, I'm sorry. I kind of blanked there. What was your question again?
No. Just is there competition?
Oh, the
Is there a lot of
competition. Yeah,
people? You
most of
said
them
that
are
you're
realtors, but
rural, and
yeah, I'll tell you what though. I've befriended most realtors around here now. There's a lot that don't like what I do as far as, no matter what, you can't change people's mindset. If they have one mindset, this is the only way to do real estate, it's kind of hard to change them over. But what I've done is I've befriended a ton of realtors that come to me daily for deals. They have buyers. They have buyers in California. They have buyers in New York, buyers that I would never make connections with. And I do deals with realtors all the time. And it's not just because I was a realtor, but once you start and like working with them and show them that you're easy to work with, they'll love working with you, even if you're licensed or not. But you can do both. But being licensed
so
makes it a little bit more difficult.
why aren't these realtors going after the same deals you are, or are they?
I would say fear. Um, Most of them want that turnkey house, a $300,000 listing. We're in a town where there's 50 listings right now, and I've got 20 contracts under my belt. So they're not going after them just because, I don't know. There's just kind of this stigma. If you don't have this great listing portfolio, when there's still money in investments. But a lot of times realtors are only getting paid 3%. So if the house sells for 30 grand, where we could make 10 grand on 30 grand, they're going to make 1,500 bucks. They'll pass it off all day, every day, and I'll get leads like that too, and then I'll partner up with them.
Yeah, love it. I love it. So let's break it down, right? So
I'm sorry, man. I'm all over the place.
no, it's good. No. This is good. So you've got 11 deals. You're going from canceling 3 deals to closing 11 in a month, one being a house that you're moving into and getting with $80,000 worth of equity. How are you doing this? How are you finding these deals? What are you doing? Because listen, for everybody out there that's new to this, there's 3 parts to this business. Keep it simple. The first part is lead generation. That's the engine of your business. That is when you build up your pipeline of opportunities. All right. That is where you're going out there and you're having quality conversations with distressed property owners and seeing if they would consider an offer. The second part of this business is conversion, right? This is pre-qualifying them. This is doing your lead follow-up, and this is doing your offer presentation and getting the offer signed. And then third is exit strategy, whether that be assigning the deal, whether that be flipping the deal, whether that be holding the deal, whatever you want to do there. There's 3 parts to this business. So let's start with the first part, Dustin. What is your main lead generations? What does that look like? Out of the 11 deals you're closing and close this month, what is the makeup of those?
I would say at this point, now that I've got my snowball rolling, I'm dipping into a little bit of everything. I don't send many mailers. If I am driving for dollars, I'm just adding them to a list to cold call or text. Right. I've got heavy radio here in town now. I'll tell you, radio is super expensive, especially if you're in bigger cities. But the leads I get coming through radio, I've got an $18,000 assignment fee pending right now. Well, I've got like 70 grand pending just for this month, and and those huge fees they come from radio. They're just hot leads, man. I don't know what it is. They're unique. I don't know. You're going to spend all that money, but it's going to come back. It's going to come back. That's what So
you're making Chris Arnold, who does the REI radio that talks about it on this podcast, very happy. Dustin, that's awesome.
Well, I've got a buddy that was a part of his program that does it in another state, and at this point, all he has to do is wait for his phone to ring. So, nice. But he's awesome. We've anyways, and that's a kid that when you're talking about making connections with people, like I wouldn't have been able to be. I feel like he's helped me become successful. I've helped him become successful, just constantly bouncing off marketing ideas.
Yep.
Like I would have never texted unless he would have hey, have you ever tried texting? Like, no, what's all that about? But now I do everything. I text, I cold call, I have radio marketing. I've got a few billboards just for more brand recognition. So, I'm in a smaller town. So, I mean, it's on a main artery. So I'm just like, hey, if I can get I'm not from here, from Memphis, but I've lived here for a long time. If I can just shove my face down everyone's throat, I don't care if you're going to use my service or not, but if you see me in the subway line, I'm like, hey, that's Dustin Ray. He buys houses for cash.
Yeah. I love it. What is your, well, then with all that, you've got cold calling, you've got texting, you've got some mail, you got radio, you got billboard. What are you spending a month on marketing?
I put the pen to the paper right now, probably around $7 grand.
Awesome.
Maybe more. I skip trace a list, almost 3 lists a day. I'm spending probably $200-300 just in. We sent 600 texts yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and these are in smaller markets.
And just for everybody, skip tracing is it's a service to get phone numbers for the properties that you're trying to get a hold of. Batchskiptracing.com is the best.
And that's what we use.
Yeah. Use that TTP coupon code, TTP coupon, and you'll get a discount there. But so about 7,000, maybe a little bit more, but you're making 70.
Yeah. So it's
talk to me about how you met your acquisition manager.
Okay. Kind of funny. Playing Call of Duty. I cannot stand playing Call of Duty, but my best friend in Nashville would always beg me, just kind of like our hangout session after work.
Right.
Like, I can't see him, but hey, let's talk, have a beer, whatever, like talk and shoot some people. I'm not promoting anything like that, but whatever you do. Anyways, he's like, hey, I want to introduce you to this guy. His name's Uncle Buck online, but his name's Colin, and he lives in Nova Scotia. I just, every day I'd be excited and log on talking about how the day went. Man, I got this deal going. And he's in college right now for business management. So I'm like, and he would always ask all these questions. I go, hey, man, what if I really need an assistant? But what if I brought you on and you helped me with acquisitions and, we both make a ton of money together and you can sit at home. They're in full lockdown still up there. So he can't work at his job. He was making $1,800 a month. He's making $9,000 this month. So finding deals for me.
I think he
likes.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're really good friends now. He likes me a little bit more than I like him, but that's just I'm just kidding. He's awesome.
That's awesome.
He's gonna watch.
It is the time of the podcast where we break down a deal. The reason we break down a deal is to show everybody, like, open the kimono, look at everything, and see, look under the hood and see what these transactions require. Right. And just to put it into perspective and put it in, like, you can do this, into the perspective of you can do this. Let me show you the nuts and bolts of this transaction. So, Dustin, what deal do you want to break down?
I will break down my mega deal. It was like my 3rd or 4th closing, the one where I said, okay, I texted my boss the next day and said, hey, I'm putting in my 2/8.
Okay.
So we'll do that one. And not my mic there. So this is it's a double wide. I know a lot of people are like, can you wholesale mobile homes if they're on land? Heck yeah, man, big money. People like that stuff. But anyways, it's a lady moved into her house. Her husband. I don't know if you want those details. Yeah, I'll give you her motivation.
Yeah,
why not? Yeah. So she was terrible with her money, to put it that way. Her husband passed away. She got some large inheritance from, I guess, insurance or whatever. She buys this super nice double wide trailer. I mean, it was super nice. On 4 acres, everything's brand new. Adds on a front porch, a back porch, a blacktop driveway. I don't know if you know how much like blacktop cement and concrete is, but it's expensive. So she spent a ton of money getting this thing like exactly the way she wanted it. And then she had it for about a year and a half. And I believe I posted on Facebook. And there's Facebook groups that you can post to for marketing, free groups. I don't know if y'all know about that or not, but if you just like type in Jackson
again, Dustin, what's the group?
Like Facebook free groups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Just like, hey, in Jackson, buy, sell, and trade, backyard yard sale. I'm looking for houses to buy. And then that's how I got in contact with her. But anyways, we haggled on price. She called me one month and she was ready to move forward, but she was having this issues where her daughter was living in the house and didn't want to move. And so it took a while. I got this lead right when I started, and it was about a month and a half, 2 months later when we finally got it under contract and closed. But anyways, her daughter was just, I guess, upset that she was selling, and finally we agreed. After 2 months, she calls me out of the blue and says, Dustin, I want to sell right now. I'm getting my daughter out. I'm ready to go. Pick up the phone. I drive out there immediately. I go home, print out a contract, drive out there immediately. We haggled to a price. I make her an offer. It stung to make that offer, but I knew I had to make that low offer because they're always going to counter that offer. You can always go up. You can't go back down. So I had to make that offer. She ended up going like $5 more grand. I think I got it under contract for $40,000.
Real quick, Dustin, so you posted to the Facebook free group. What did you post?
So I used to just post my flyers and that's it. Like
what flyer. What does the flyer say?
Just Dustin buys houses fast for cash, need property. You know, it's like a poster, almost a picture, but it's just all on that post. You know, divorce, moving out of town, you know, relocating, vacant property, all those bullet points, all those pressure points. It's just one page, and I'll use that as my flyer to also tape to people's doors.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just hand someone a flyer. Yeah, she called me.
Okay.
Off of Facebook.
Okay.
And it was a free lead. I mean, all I did was just log into my Facebook and say, go to a group. It didn't cost me a dime. I didn't have to do Facebook ads or anything. Awesome. So anyways, I drive out there. We couldn't get to a price. She's like, no, never mind. I'm not interested. I can't do it at that price. So I said, okay. I walk away from the deal. And that's one of the hardest things to do at front. You don't want to lose that deal and you're so anxious to get it. But if you walk and they're truly motivated, they will call you back.
Yeah.
45 minutes later, I get home. I make the 30-minute trip home. She calls me again and says, never mind. I changed my mind. I want to sell now. Come back out here. I drive right back out there, get it under contract for 40 grand. And ended up selling it the very next day for 55.
55. And yeah, so you made how much?
15 on that one. But I made it right. Oh yeah, 15 grand. That was half my yearly salary right there. So you can imagine how I felt. And
that's when you were like, see you, boss.
Yeah. See you, boss. You know, no more. So I did make it right though. Their central unit ended up going out right as we closed. And so, you know, I was like, you know what, man, you know, they pay me, you know, and I'm humbled as hell. So I ended up throwing them like another like $1,000 after closing. So I think I made 14,000 just to get their HVAC fixed.
Got it. Awesome. How did that feel when that 14, when you saw that 14 or the 15 when it came in? How did it feel? What was going through your brain?
I thought, man, I was untouchable for a minute. Like I'm Superman, dude. You cannot touch me. Grant Cardone here I come. Yeah. You know, I'm just kidding, but no, like that's how I felt. Like, okay, where's my awesome suit and everything? And but you do have to stay humble. It's hard not to stay humble sometimes when you're making these huge checks, and you just want to shout it to the moon, because if you've come from nothing, which my family didn't provide much for me at all, it was either, you know, sink or swim. I joined the military right after I got out of high school because my parents were like, you ain't going to be an F up here. You can be F up over there, but not here. So it's amazing to be able to create something out of like just the success out of nothing. After it's almost just like pure will. Like, yep. I'm so motivated to do this that I'm going to make it happen. And when it happens, it's like, I did it. I made fire, you know? So it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. And then I still get excited about deals. I can't wait to market a deal when I get a good one. It's not all about the money, but it's just like, man, you know, the volume I'm moving and everything, people are paying attention. I'm very vocal with what I do, not necessarily like saying, hey, I'm a wholesaler, but, you know, they see me moving deals and stuff. So anyways.
Love it. How do people, if people want to get a hold of you, if they want to reach out, if maybe they're in a similar situation as you and they just need some guidance, or they want to throw you some love, how do people get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You can hit me up on Facebook. I'm not big on Instagram. I do have one. I don't know what it's called, but I'm big on Facebook. You can just hit me up. My name, Dustin Ring. I'm here in Jackson, Tennessee. I've got a page called Dustin Buys Houses Fast as well. You can hit that up. You can email me, dringbuys@gmail. But, you know, I'm a Facebookaholic. I'm always on there marketing or doing something, doing a motivational video or something.
Awesome.
I'm on there. So that would be the best place to get a hold of me.
Awesome. Guys, reach out to Dustin, especially if you are in Tennessee. I'm sure that, you know, if you're somewhere in Tennessee, you guys can meet up and get connected, or, absolutely, you know, joint venture, do some deals together for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do, you know, if you need help, just holler at me. I'll help you any way I can.
Awesome. Dustin, thank you so much.
Dude, thank you.
Guys, listen, the moral of this podcast is be loud. Here's the thing. You post to the groups. Don't be scared to be loud. When I talk about TTP, when I talk about talking to people, people correlate that just with cold calling, but it's not just that. It's just getting out there and building a network of people that understand what you're doing. feeding your passion to be a real estate entrepreneur by letting everybody know about it, and good things are going to happen. You're going to be known as the person in town, just like Dustin, that does deals, that is looking for distressed property, and all of a sudden you're going to get referrals, you're going to get opportunities, people are going to be part of your cash buyer database. That's what it's all about. So go out there, have courage just like Dustin, and be loud. And if you are interested in joining the most proactive, the most loud group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family. It is the TTP program. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP, wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check it out. Scroll down, check out all the testimonials, check out what it's about. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. I look forward to working with you personally. So that's it. Dustin, thank you again for jumping
Appreciate
on
it.
here. What a incredible story, an incredible journey. And for everybody else out there, as always, I sign off by encouraging you to talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys. See ya.
Peace.